All right, here we are, Rath Real Estate. My name is John Robert Quinn, the guy who builds talk shows coast to coast, creator of JRQ TV, hanging out with Mr. Steve Rath. It's Monday, we're sitting by the pool, and both of us have our head in the clouds. And you know what? We're just gonna have a nice little conversation. The weekend still is, seems like it's still the weekend.
We're in slow-mo today.
I love it. All right, so we want to talk about how to get more for your home. That's the topic, right?
Okay.
How to get more for your home.
Sure.
We've seen a lot of crazy things happen. Back to that Citrus Heights. I'm almost sick and tired of talking about that Citrus Heights house. But that Citrus Heights house, it's 122 offers. It sells for like $100,000 more than asking. Let me just ask you, how does that happen?
Well, first of all, I would say that agent missed the mark on pricing by a lot. And so that's one of the first. Before we get going, I wanted to introduce somebody, if I may.
Yeah.
This is John Robert Quinn.
Okay.
Or Quinn, as his friends call him, or he likes to be called. And it's interesting how we met. I was looking for a videographer that was, really good and professional. I interviewed quite a few that, they were polished and clean and looked pretty.
And I'm not that.
And no. But, the funny thing is, the funny thing is that I like that. I said, he's a little bit of a rebel. And for those of you that grew up with me, I have a little bit of that in me too. So anyway, I like that, and I watch your videos, and the first one I watched was him doing a video of a restaurant that I used to live right next to, and I didn't even know that it was there.
Classico.
No, not El Forno, that Asian place, your buddy on Sunrise Boulevard.
Oh.
Anyway, I watched him do that video, and I was salivating. I wanted to go to that restaurant, I swear. And I said, okay, this guy is good. So I watched a couple more, and we talked, and it clicked. I like him. He's a down-to-earth guy, and he's kind of like an onion. And by that, I don't.
Well, I'm going to bring tears to your eyes when you're near me.
Yeah, well, that too. Now, it's not that if you saute him in butter, he gets soft and sweet. Quite the opposite, actually. He's got a lot of layers. Not only, he owns his own, what's it called, your TV?
JRQ
show?
TV.
JRQ TV. Very successful and recognized, and he's a great videographer. The first video,
Apparently, we're doing a video on me today.
We are. Well, I wanted to point it out because you wear a hat and a T-shirt, and people say, "Well, who is this guy?" Well, I'm telling you who this guy is. He the first video, I had never done one. I really wanted to, and I came up with this script. It was like 8 pages long.
This is stuff that you don't see.
And I said, okay, here's what I want to do. And I showed it to him, and he's like, no, this ain't going to happen. So he cut it down. We did our first video, and I liked it. I loved it. So we did the second with Chris, and that was awesome. And then the last one was the interview, which I liked too. So here we are at number 4, and he's a good guy. I mentioned the onion. Not only is he good at this part of it, but he's a car collector. He's got a couple Mercedes. He's got a beautiful Bullet. The Steve McQueen car, later version, but it is gorgeous. Obviously, he likes bikes.
What are we, 4 minutes into this thing? It's still about me.
That's all right. He's a collector of stuff. So, historic, valuable, really interesting things. So the more I get to know him, the more I like him. So that's Quinn. Right there. He's a good guy.
All right, so how do people get more for their home? First of all, if they hire me and I go out and I shoot that house, they've got good quality video to take that and show their buyers. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
The same thing goes with the agent. So let's say that an agent is trying to get their product out there,
Right.
or trying to get themselves out there, shooting them, putting them up on the JRQ TV. I mean, we're getting millions of views at this point. It's kind of crazy, actually. It's ridiculous. I don't know why you guys watch this stuff, but you do. Thank you. I appreciate it. But taking and shooting the realtor and then putting them up on the JRQ TV and social media, that drives traffic. And of course, it helps improve the value of the home. But deep down, as a premier agent in the region, how does somebody go about increasing the value of their home? And let's go back to that house again. 122 offers, sells for 100,000 more. You hit the nail on the head. They obviously priced the house wrong, or there wouldn't have been that many offers. Well, what else?
Well, in that case, consider trying to evaluate 122 offers. Trying to put that on a spreadsheet and figure out which one is better because of what. Now you can
95% of those probably didn't even get looked at.
Yeah, you could just chop off 95%, but still 5% of 122. That's a lot of offers to consider and try to figure out how to get the best price for that property. So missing the price is one of the biggest mistakes that is made in marketing a home. If you're too high or you're too low, you're going to lose money. If you're too high, you get stagnant. You lose the viewers that are taking a look at the property. And if you're on the market right now for more than a month, you are too high. Period.
Way too high.
Way too high. You should really have an offer in the first 2 weeks or 2. And that's really what the target is in this market. Is looking for 3 offers in the first 2 weeks, and they should be solid, and they are with good agent, good marketing.
Now,
So picking the right agent is the most important.
okay,
part.
so this lady who sells this house in Citrus Heights, 122 offers, she says that the comps were spot on with the area and the whole bit. Okay, so let's just say that she's right. Let's say that all the houses in the region were supposed to be around 400,000. She sets the price at 400,000. They come in with a price of 500,000. They sell the house at 500,000. Well, realistically speaking, the comps in the area all go up now, essentially, because this house has gone up. So now they're probably sitting at what, 4.25, 435, something along those lines in terms of their comps for the other area homes. The next house that goes up on the market may then what? Sell for 440.
It's in this market, it's kind of the 5-10% rule, depending on the house, depending how cherry it is, depending on is it just a.
It was a nice house.
Is it a cookie cutter house, or is it the best of the neighborhood? And by the way, the best of the neighborhood is not always what you're after, as you know. So there's a lot that goes into it, but in a market that's accelerating like this one is, you want to be 5 or 10% above the last comp if you're a comparable home.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So that is kind of just baked into how you put a value on a house, and you can't look at there's platforms out there for consumers that value homes. One I really don't like, starts with a Z, and I won't even say the name out loud.
Zabroni?
Yeah, that's it. Zabroni. Zabroni's Real Estate Valuations. No. They use algorithms that take nothing into the valuation at all, other than square foot, neighborhood. If you're in the middle of a neighborhood with 20 other houses that sold at the exact same price, it can come up with a pretty close valuation as of that sale date. Not what the future evaluation should be.
Correct.
Not what the sales price or the asking price should be.
The other problem with that, though, is when I did mortgages, if you're not in the center of that neighborhood, if you're on the edge of that neighborhood, it gives you some really bogus numbers. I've seen appraisals come in at 4.25, and their Zebroni estimate was 5.5, and the client's not happy when they're losing $100,000.
Yeah, that's one of the things it doesn't take into account. As a matter of fact, there was a lot of appraisers using that same format and algorithms. And they would they'd appraise a property in El Dorado Hills, for instance, and they were from Tahoe. They had no idea what Serrano was as compared to the rest of the zip code.
Right.
And they would do these desk appraisals, and it didn't take into account, does it back to the freeway? Do you hear the freeway noise?
I know,
Is it on a really steep lot?
Or they're taking the appraisal from the house that is backed up to a freeway, and the house that they're appraising on is on a freaking golf course.
It does not differentiate
I mean, come on.
any of that.